Hello, my name is Peter. Nice to meet you. I'm from Denmark. I've been in Korea for 4 years now, and I came because my wife is Korean and we've been living 6 years in Denmark. Sorry, can you say Denmark ranked number 2 in what?
How valuable their nationality
Valuable.
is, like the
Citizenship.
citizenship.
Oh, okay, I see. I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know about this. Yeah, I feel proud that other nations really, value Denmark as one of the best, they want to move to Denmark. I guess, we have this term called hygge, which is very coziness. So we are relaxed people and we like to, easy to talk to, not hurry, just take it easy, and the landscape is beautiful. I don't know, just the cozy lifestyle. I guess that's why, perhaps. So in Denmark, we usually work 37 hours a week. That is the average. 37. So it means that we work usually from 8 to 4 or 5 o'clock, and Fridays usually from 8 to 1. Fridays is like the perfect day to, start your weekend. I remember when I worked in Denmark, when I came back home, then my wife would call her brother, my brother-in-law. And that time, 7-8 hours difference between Denmark and Korea. So when I came back 2 o'clock, then it's maybe 10 p.m. in Korea. Then he came back from work. Your husband came back already too? So he was so surprised. It's like heaven. So 37 hours is the average working hours, so it's nice. I used to work at the university, and I think we value the colleagues a lot. We don't have a 회식 like Korea, so we only meet our colleagues at work 37 hours a week. And then we have coffee breaks and lunch, so it's very different compared with Korea. In Denmark, we have like 5 or 6 weeks of vacation annually. So it means, and you can split it up during the year. Some are taking 6 weeks in a row, so it's like, one more than a month. Others are having 3 weeks autumn and 3 weeks summer or spring, so it's very nice. And of course we have the official holidays, like Christmas is the biggest holiday. So and then Easter is the second. So we have like 5 days or 1 week vacation during that period. So it's very good. That's maybe 2,500 euro a month, I would say. Depends on the job, but 3,000 euro a month. But of course, then we have to pay tax. Income tax is like from 40% upwards. That's a good question. I wouldn't really say, okay, maybe it's a different topic, but in Denmark it doesn't really matter what you do. But nowadays it's maybe in healthcare, because like Korea, getting more elderly, so we need to have more jobs in the healthcare sector. But prestigious job, it's maybe like Korea, a doctor or lawyer, something like that, but it's not so important. The important is you have a job, and it can be whatever. Yeah, maybe you can work at the restaurant, of course, or you can get an education, because if you have a visa, then education is free. Since we pay a lot of income tax, then education is free. Korea is gaining, it's already popular, so some are teaching Korean. We pay at least 40% income tax. Of course, if you don't earn a lot, you don't pay so much income tax. But eventually, you have to pay at least 40% and then up to 50%. But we have some kind of tax deduction, so it depends. You can pay extra to your private pension, then you get some tax deduction. Or if you borrow money from the bank to pay for a house or apartment, you also get some tax deduction. So since we pay 40%, we have a lot of welfare in Denmark. I would say like hospitals, free of charge. Education is free of charge. Also driving on the highway is free of charge. So that is very good. And also going to a nursing home is free of charge when you get older. Of course you have to pay for the rent, but it's free of charge. So that are some of the benefits. Yeah. So if it's going to hospital, it's free in Denmark, but then you might have waiting list. Whereas in Korea, you go to the hospital, you pay, but then you can get immediately treated. Whereas in Denmark, you have some waiting list. Also going to especially the education, I would say that is a huge difference. In Denmark, we have the public schools are free. We have some private schools, but usually children go to the public school. So in Korea, you have the hagwon, the academies, and you pay extra. That is totally different compared with Denmark. After school, children go back home, do their homework, and have a lot of free time. Whereas in Korea, they go to academy and have to study until maybe 10, 11 a.m. So huge difference. Eating out in Korea is cheaper than Denmark. Basically almost all restaurants are cheaper in Korea, I would say. It's quite expensive in Denmark. Even like suan galbi or raw fish can be a bit expensive in Korea, but compared with Denmark, it's cheap. However, buying fruits and vegetables in Korea is expensive. Yeah, for instance, I mean, if you buy a box of strawberry, it's crazy how much that costs. Or a watermelon, it's like 4 times less money in Denmark. And like meat, Korean you have hanu, delicious, but it's a bit expensive, I would say. Denmark, we're an agricultural society, so we have a lot of meat and cheap. That is some of the difference, I would say. In Korea, it's amazing still. You don't pay the tip. And the water you get is free, and you can almost go everywhere if you need to go to a restroom for free. I have noticed that. But in Europe, usually you have to pay for the water at the restaurant, and usually you have to give a tip, depends 10% or up to 20%. And if you need to go to a restroom, you have to pay for that. Usually you cannot just go to a restaurant, they will ask you to pay or you have to purchase something there. So that is very different. Yeah. €2 maybe, from 1 to 2, from 1 and upwards, I would say. We go basically 9 years to school. So in Korea you have elementary and middle school. In Denmark it's 1 school for 9 years. Then someone chooses to go to high school and some go directly to college. So it's different. We usually start school at 8 until afternoon 2 or 3-ish. And then we have some homework. But of course, during high school in Denmark, we begin, to be adults. So it means drinking and meeting a girlfriend or taking a driver license. Many different things are happening. So we're really growing up during that period, besides attending high school. I think the Danish and Korean study culture is so different. I guess one of the reasons is in Denmark, some people, we don't have high expectation. I think that's the huge difference. In Korea, you have high expectation. You have to enter university. You have to, study to become something big. In Denmark, perhaps the expectation is, okay, if you didn't do well today, then try to do better tomorrow. So there's not a lot of pressure from the parents. Of course, some are very ambitious, of course, but otherwise, it doesn't matter. Maybe 40% of Danish students go to high school. The rest do not go. So it's very different. For instance, I'm one of the few among my friends who went to university, but it doesn't matter. That's a very huge difference. We just value the free time, and the jobs are not that important. Yeah. We don't pay any tuition for the public schools. They're of course private schools. You have to pay something. And like you said, we get scholarships. So we get like €700 a month just to study. That's usually to, pay for your accommodation and your books, and of course for all the other stuff you do. So yeah, it's very nice. If you live in Copenhagen, the capital, I think it's quite easy to, if you only speak English. Of course, Danish people would appreciate if you could speak some Danish. It's the same like Korean people. They would also appreciate it if you can speak some Korean. So I guess in Copenhagen, you could survive. Outside Copenhagen, it gets more difficult. But generally, Danish people understand English. In the case, if you get married to a Danish spouse, you have language school, supported, as far as I know, free. So if you're married to a Danish guy or woman, then you can get supported for 3 years, language school, until a certain level. Otherwise, there are many schools where you can learn Danish and then you have to pay. So that's possible. I think the easiest way is try to speak with some Danish people. Try to get involved in some activities, some hobbies with Danish people, and then, try to speak Danish, and they will of course help you. We have several good dramas from Denmark. One of them is called Bogen. It's a political drama, and you can learn many different words, of course, and vocabulary. There's of course the very classical drama. Every Dane knows this, Matador. It's called Matador. It's about a family, different families, poor and rich families in 1930s and 40s and 50s in Denmark societies. That's a very good way to learn Danish, to watch that drama. Denmark is an expensive country, so you should save a lot of money. That is one of them. And if you want to drive in Denmark, you should be careful where you park because, you know, in Korea you have so many cars, but you don't have enough parking spaces. But in Denmark, you get a ticket easily. In Korea it's different, so be careful. So if you want to know any other things about Denmark or have any comments, then please write here below. So if you like this video, please subscribe, like, or follow this channel, okay? So goodbye, take care.